What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Growing Green Landscapes podcast. This is your host, Jeremiah Jennings. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode today. We are super excited to be coming to you for episode number 6. And this one is going to be pretty unique because this is actually going to be our first guest episode. We're going to have our first guest interview on here, and I'm really looking forward to it. And without further ado, let's just go ahead and bring him on in. It is Andrew Martinez from Southern Sun Landscapes. He is out in Texas. We actually got to link up at Together in the Trades, the Summit for Couples in Business. And we talked a little bit out there, and I was just starting the podcast, and I said, hey, man, when I get back, I want to and get everything set up. I want to get you on here and get to talking and kind of share your story on here and just go out to the world and let everybody else know and everybody hear what you're doing. So, Andrew, how's it going, buddy?
Bazing! Awesome, man. Well, I can't tell you how appreciative I am that I'm I am the inaugural interviewer for your podcast. I'm excited. No, I'm doing very well. It's hot down here right now. We're coming out of the humidity of the heat right now in DFW, but we're doing all right. More importantly, how are you doing after the spell I heard that you had when you tried to go at it with some hedge trimmers?
Yeah. That's if y'all hadn't heard, go check out the last episode. I got in a bad accident with some hedge trimmers. I go into the full details on that in the last episode, so we'll just hit it off the top here. But I got my fingers caught on the hedge trimmers and just about cut them all off, but they put them all back on there. So now we're back and we're recovering. We're doing good. But you go check that out on the other episode. That's not what this one's going to be about. But, I totally hear what you're talking about with the heat. When we were in Waco, I was like, man, Alabama's hot, but this is miserable. I mean, I thought we had humidity bad down here, but it was bad out there. I mean,
you came down and it was right in the thick of it, man.
Y'all are a different breed working in that.
Well, you think it's hot there. If you travel a few more hours down to Houston and Galveston, oh, bro, it gets bad. I don't see that. I mean, I know guys I've talked to with them down there, people from Florida, and they're telling me crazy stories. And you think that we have it bad here. That's pretty bad down there. But, I mean, it's just that humidity, man. Now it's starting to kind of wear off a little bit, but it's all right. I mean, we know what we signed up for.
That's right. That's right. I mean, when you're going to be a landscaper, you just better get used to sweating and getting a nice tan during the summer.
Yeah, that's right.
Don't take your shirt off at the beach because you have a bad farmer's tan. But that's just the price of doing business.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, Andrew, let's just kind of, I mean, we talked a little bit, and like I said, we linked up Together in the Trades, but we don't really know each other that well. We're just kind of growing this relationship and getting to learn about each other's businesses in the community. And so, Andrew, why don't you just take us through the story of how you got started up and kind of the journey to get to where you are today and where y'all are at now.
Yes, sir. Okay, so just kind of a snapshot. I've been doing this since, I guess, full-time and professionally, I would say, since 2009. I've told people before, I mean, I've done it in high school, kind of intermittently, things like that. I did it for paintball money, girlfriend money, okay, stuff like that. But make a longer story short, I decided to get into it full time back in 2009. I'd say probably mid-year. I was in sales. Right around that time, the company I was working for filed a Chapter 11, and we're through the recession and all that. And I think they closed like half of their stores nationwide, and I was in one of the branches that downsized. They didn't close the location, but they lost half their staff. So I was in retail, and I don't know if you've ever worked retail or done anything in that environment, sales or anything like that. But I mean, hours upon hours upon hours with very little fruit. I mean, you got to have a knack for it, I guess. So I took a couple weeks, just kind of put my feet up and didn't do anything. Took my severance, and I was like, all right, fine. But the bill still kept coming in, and wife's kind of like, okay, so this is what's going to happen, right? And I'm like, no, you're right. And so much like what a lot of other guys I think in the business have done, I didn't really go into it with a game plan. I didn't really have a structure to it. I just kind of, what I've heard on here before is ready, fire, aim kind of thing. And that's exactly what I did. There was a van. I was a espresso minivan in my parents' van that they weren't using at the time. So I grabbed that. I grabbed my mom and dad's mower. I had an old high school John Deere weed eater at the time, and I didn't even have a blower. I was still having to rake it all up and all that. And that was the origins of Southern Sons Landscape. Then it was Andrews Lawn Service, $20 guaranteed, as advertised.
So you weren't chucking the truck, you were checking the minivan.
You nailed it. That's right. Oh my God. It didn't even have a radio, bro. So, or the CD player in it broke or whatever. It was just something else. I can't really complain too bad. At the time they got the job done. I took out those middle seats, put a couple mowers in there and equipment, hand tools, whatever I needed. And
well, we actually have a local guy around here that uses like like a lot of irrigation companies use like the Chevy vans. They'll use.
That's right, yeah.
And this dude has a maintenance company. I mean, just like we do, and he uses that to pull his trailer and stuff with, because he can put all of his weed eaters.
A minivan.
No, not a minivan. Like I'm trying to think, like a van, like a U-Haul van type thing, like you would.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, that's a little bit different. I mean, that looks a bit more mainstream.
But he's got it wrapped and stuff. It's actually really nice. But the concept is he can put everything inside of it and it's dry. So if it starts raining, he can throw his weed eaters in the back.
That's right.
And, you got that whole back section.
Yeah.
But
anyway. mine's mine, bro. If you saw mine, it'd be total soccer mom van, bro.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, hey, everybody starts somewhere.
So that's where the origin started. My first business entity was Andrews Landscape. I actually still have that website up in my Fort Worth market that I just sold a route off. So I'm probably going to shut all that down officially. I kind of let that drag on because of the Google algorithm. It's been up for so long that, I mean, it's been getting calls left and right, but I don't go out there anymore. So then I partnered up with a buddy of mine in 2014 and kicked off that LLC, which is now Southern Sons Landscape. And I've been doing that ever since. So all kinds of pitfalls there and in between, life lessons and stories. So it's been going on almost 11 seasons now, maybe probably more. And which was my math there. But yeah, man. So that's, in a nutshell, that's kind of what we're looking at. I mean, been through various types of equipment. I've had up to 5 trucks running, including my partners and my own at one point. We've had up to about 10 guys on staff full time throughout the year. I have regressed down to owner operator. And so I've just been that way voluntarily. This is really my first year doing that. I had up to about 2 trucks running simultaneously over the last 3 years, but not truly. Like I'd have one truck open one part of the year, they quit or I had to fire them or whatever. Then I get back in and I find somebody else and it surges back into another 2 out. It's just kind of it's kind of complex, but now this year I kind of was frustrated with the employment side of things, getting them, losing them, not really being able to have a game plan and constantly being behind in my work and working 7 days a week. I was like, this isn't living, man. It's frustrating, you're mentally racked, and it's very unstable. And so I was like, I need to just take a psychological break. I went ahead and took the side of being a frog in a boiling pot. One of my good friends that I go to church with, he decided to come on with me full time. I was like, it's just going to be us all year, man. So we're going to do this. If you can make it, awesome. If you can't, awesome. I'll just let go of some accounts and I'll just keep pushing forward. And, equipment shows up every day, and it's always out there. And he's been really good too. And that's where I'm at right now. So I'm in 1 truck. I got a couple 21s. I got a 0 turn, all my hand tools, 2-cycle stuff. And we're knocking out about 18 to 21 lawns a day.
Good deal. So that sounds like to me. Are you dealing with a lot of smaller like neighborhood lawns out there, or like what is your landscape out there?
Yeah. Okay. So we're in. So I'm in Arlington, Texas. Arlington and Mansfield, which is a suburb of Dallas, Fort Worth. And most of the properties that I serve out here, they're going to be like in your HOA neighborhoods, so they're kind of cookie cutter homes.
Yep.
So I have some that are, man, like strips of lawns and front yards, and then I have others that are 20,000 square foot corner lot properties, in these $600,000-700,000 homes. So that's my blend. I try to stay residential. I try to stay like the HOA home, postage stamp kind of lawns. I try to stay that way. That's my ideal customer. I do have a couple little businesses that I do work for. I've just recently sold one off in this route in Fort Worth that I was telling you about. But yeah, to answer your question, yes, I try to stay primarily residential market in those HOA postage stamps, and I try to keep them somewhat dense.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. You're blessed to have that because you can. It sounds like you can keep your routes pretty tight. I know it's a very populated area out there, so
it needs improvement. Just like anything, it's very difficult. I mean, I know there's a lot of different thoughts out there on
it's
that.
a lot easier said than done.
Bro, it is. Yeah, you either put this, like anything, you put the sweat equity in there, go door to door for a year, a season, on your Saturdays and Sundays even to kind of help fill in those gaps. But then you have some fall off, and you got to replace those, and it's just. So I'm content with what I've got right now, and I'm just taking on with and considering whatever Google brings me, whatever word of mouth brings me at this point. I'm not being aggressive. I could be, and I probably should be, honestly, man. But I mean, it is what it is right now. Everybody's hanging on. I don't got huge gaps of time in between. I mean, ideally, that's where you want to be is 3 in a row, 4 or 5 on one street, and that's how, I messaged everybody out there, probably smarter than me, so I shouldn't even say, but, density is the key. I mean, just take that windshield time out. Yeah, you work a little bit harder, where you don't have that truck break maybe, but you know what? You've knocked out 4 or 5 ones in an hour and a half, and you're pulling down a couple $100. I mean, I'd say, I mean, that's great. So what about you? What about you? I know we touched on yours a little bit. I forget. Are you rural too, or are you more rural? Are you you like that? How's your?
It's kind of weird down here. We're in a suburb of a big city of Birmingham. I don't know if you know. I don't know if you've heard of Birmingham. But that's kind of like there's Montgomery.
I've seen it on the map. Yeah.
Yeah, like Montgomery is the capital of Alabama, and then Birmingham is like the biggest city. I mean, all the civil rights movement and all that stuff was in Birmingham. And we are right outside. So Birmingham is very populated, very dense, and we're about 20 minutes outside of there. So we are it's hard to explain. There's a lot of different cities around us, and we'll have one city where my house is. It's very dense, very populated. We can be extremely route dense. But if you go 15 minutes the other way into the neighboring city, it goes into very rural land. So you're looking at driving 10, 15 minutes between properties possibly.
So really, if you wanted to, you could have a blend of, and you probably do, but you could have a blend of whatever you wanted.
Exactly.
You can go get a 62-inch Tiger Cat, or you could just stick with the 21s, and you'd probably be just right either way.
Yeah. That it's whatever I want to market because that's actually I started out with a 60-inch. And I'm still running a 60-inch and a 54-inch. But like
these things are awesome, man.
Yeah, I love them.
It's just a different grade of mower, man. When you get on that, it's just different. It's a different experience. It is. It's just a different experience.
Oh yeah, it's so much bigger than a 36-inch, that type of stuff. That when you jump up to those 60 inches, it's the power that they're packing in them now. It's really good. But the landscape for me is tough, and the whole route density because I have a couple properties that are like 4 acres, and then I have a couple of properties that I can push mow in 7 minutes. So, so it's.
Well, that sounds pretty good, though. I mean, that sounds like the better. That sounds like the better of both worlds.
It is. Man, it is, and it's fun, and it's kind of cool to me this year because this year I've actually been really trying to figure out which yards I make the most money on. Am I making more profit on my neighborhood cookie cutter houses? Or am I making my profit on my houses that I'm there for 2 or 2.5 hours, but I'm charging accordingly, and I'm not driving, and it's just strictly billable hours that I'm on that job. So it is a learning curve.
I've heard it. No, I hear you, and I mean, I mean, learn, because you're young. You got your whole future ahead of you, and if you're gonna mess up, do it now. Get it out of the way, because then you're gonna start winning. I don't see how you can mess up now, because you got so much available content. You got so many guys out there just spilling their guts about their experience over the last 10, 15 years that, man, I mean, you can just really take this bull by the horns and just, have your way, have your way with it, really, because it blows me away.
Yeah,
but I mean, I would like to touch on that just a little bit as far as the acreage versus the 7-minute Bushmost. In my experience, what I figured out, because of the landscape where I'm at, of the communities that are out there, I've actually moved away from the larger properties. As far as, we sold off all of our bigger equipment, had bigger trailers. My buddy of mine was putting in his F-250. I don't run those anymore. I may, if I go the way of getting a ramp rack or something welded or something like that, like a dovetail onto the truck, and do that, for the suspension and the motor and all that. So I may wind up doing that again. But I found that exactly do the volume, per retail. It's kind of like retail versus wholesale, I guess, if that makes any sense, as far as the pricing difference and the time on the jobs on the cookie cutter or the postage stamp lawns versus the acreage properties out here. I don't know what rates are out there, but I know the rates down here start becoming competitive around $95 to about $110 an acre clean cut mow, with a little bit of weed eating and edging in there. And that would typically take me, my partner, and even 3 guys at the time here a little while back. We would go do 2.5 acre properties, and we would be out there for probably 2 hours, maybe hour and a half, something like that. But if you got 3 guys out there, all that equipment, it's more than that. What is that? It's more like 4.5 hours, 4.5 man hours.
Yeah, man hours. Yeah.
And if we do that, if we apply that same man hours towards the cookie cutter or the postage stamp lawns, I found that the revenues come in about 20 to 30% more consistently. And that's just kind of where I've been running and gunning. Now, of course, it's a different kind of client. You got to advertise differently. You got to have a different mindset for that, and different tolerance level too, at some point. But that's just kind of how I found it. And that's where I've kind of really taken my business. I don't even really take on commercial work anymore. I've been burned by way too many, not a lot of what is that, faithfulness there, I guess, as far as the accounts are.
I haven't been burned yet, but that's one thing that I've learned. I mean, I've done a couple commercial accounts, and it's just a cutthroat industry out there. I mean, every year they're going to be looking for the new guy, the lowest guy, and it's one of those things that it's with my residential customers, which is mainly what I am also. You can build those relationships with those customers, and that's what I tell my customers when they sign up. I landed a year-round contract the other day, and I was telling the lady, as an elderly widow, and I was like, "Look, you're not just another customer to me. You're part of our family now. Like that's the way I look at my business and my customers is because when you're dealing with residentials like that, they trust you. I mean, they are putting their faith and their trust in you to have you and your crew on their property, and at all times of the day, whether they're there or not. And those are the kind of clients that I want. I don't want the ones that are going to be watching over me the whole time, texting me when am I going to be there, and all that. You want somebody that can buy into your business and to our philosophy and trust us to be out there and do a good job. And that's one thing that I've learned, the difference between commercial and residential. I mean, some of my residential customers, I know for a fact that they will die before I'm not doing their lawn. And that's a bold statement.
Man, that's awesome.
That's a bold statement, but I would take that to my grave because that's just the relationships that we build with them.
Okay. Well, good deal.
Yeah.
Well, and that reiterates the faithfulness, I mean, you take the term, well, it's a bit closer to home. No, it is home. So you're right. You're taking care of the dwelling. There's a level of trust there. You nailed it, man.
Exactly. And especially when there's kids on the property during the summertime. I mean, if their kids are out playing or something, they want to trust that you can roll up there and the kids aren't going to get kidnapped or something. I mean,
That's right.
They trust you around their kids and their family, and it's just
or like the whole thing of like the cliche thing of the construction worker whistling at a lady walking down the sidewalk. You get the teenagers and little girls out there. You don't want them getting whistled at or anything by creepy lawn guys.
Exactly.
So there's that level of trust that, hey, you put these guys there, and that speaks volumes and monuments, and
it goes a long way.
All that is in the fabric of being able to maintain those accounts and being able, on the business side of it, being able to rely on that income, be able to rely on those accounts for years and seasons at a time. And you're right, man, that vicious snake of competition and just being lower bid in the commercial end, it's awful. I mean, time and time again, HOAs out here, I see property management companies. I've had, if I could tell you a story of one that really burned me and really got me out of commercial. I'm sure that's fine. I mean, I'm sure commercial is just fine if you do it right, if you plan it right, if you hold your standards, you uphold your policies. I'm sure it's just fine. It's just I got burned, and I just don't care to go back into it. I may one of these days if it's a good opportunity. I had a decent experience by a builder. I had them for about 5 years before I sold them off to a buddy of mine. That contact anyways with their homes that they were building down here. But the one that burned me real bad, about a year's time with my partner and I at the time, they wound up owing us like $50K, man, like between 46 and 50K. It's about a $250,000 contract, but looking back at the books over that year and what we were doing for them and all that, I mean, most of that was payroll, material. That was our profit. Let's just say that, Jeremiah.
Yeah.
The money they owed us over that year and some change, that was our profit. I mean, what is that? What is that, 20%, 30%? Yeah, that was our profit of what we did for them. And we had to wind up sending them demand letters from our attorney at the time. Dude, it was just a headache. And, I mean, we were literally writing checks by the skin of our teeth, man. And it was a troublesome time. On top of, having a staff, I have a family at the time, and I still do, but I mean, with all that, it just put me in a big bind. And that was probably at that point was 50% of our business. And that, as a small business, man, it really impacted us. And that just kind of soured my taste and experience towards commercial. And that's right around that time and a couple years after is when I formulated my plan of just kind of targeting the residential, because you can get 1,000 customers, 500 customers, you can lose 20 of them and you still won't miss a beat, right?
Yeah, that's right.
You can have 5 awesome commercial accounts, and let's say all of them are awesome except maybe one's questionable and one's just is piss poor, but you're gonna take them because it's right around the corner from another one, but they're also paying you 20% of your overall income. You lose that, well, you're having to lay people off. It's just, so it can be done. Don't get me wrong. It's being done every day. Look at this big publicly traded one. It used to be Brightview. I mean, that's what they do. They've made a whole public traded company out of it. But I mean, I don't know. I guess it's just whichever way, just how thick your skin is, I guess, if you want, and what you're willing to put up with to chase a dollar, maybe.
That's right. Well, that's a topic that we could go back and forth on all the time. I mean, that's for anybody that's listening, anybody new starting out, going into, if you're looking at bidding commercial stuff, we're not saying don't do it. We're just saying that for us and our business,
just be careful. Know what you're doing.
That's right. If you're going to go into it, do your background history, like study up on. And there's a lot of, it's like Andrew hit on earlier. There's plenty of guys out here putting out content with commercial contracts and how to bid and what your rates are to charge. So if you're gonna jump into that world, just make sure you're doing it the right way and don't put all your eggs in one basket. Diversify your income a little bit as you start out, and that way, if you do have one drop you, then you're not hurting. And that actually happened to me this year. I had an HOA that I've raised my rates on from last year because I hardly made any money on it. I mean, I bid it way too low last year, and I came in and raised them this year, and they said no, we're gonna find somebody cheaper, and so I lost that HOA.
Dang. Okay.
But I wasn't tied to that. That wasn't my only source of income. Like I had 75 other customers that I said, okay, I'll just go to them, and we'll grow we'll take that HOA and the time that put into that, and we'll gain 10 new customers, and we'll make more money than we made last year. So it's one of those things. Just if you're going to do it the right way. But Andrew, kind of back to you. Let's go back to your story a little bit.
Yeah.
So you said you started out in 09. So you said you were in sales. Did you get laid off? Is that what you said?
That's right. Yeah. So I was working at a jeweler, a local jeweler here. They weren't very big, but they had to file Chapter 11 and wound up closing half of their stores nationwide. Wasn't a whole lot of them, but there was quite a bit of them.
Yeah.
Half stores, half the staff, and I guess I wasn't. I didn't make the cut. And I was in that percentage of folk that had to leave. So.
That's right. Well, so let's dive into that a little bit. We're already sitting at 26 minutes. This is fun. But let's dive into that. So if you got laid off in 09, we were going through the recession to that point. I was still young, so I don't really remember it all. But I remember my parents and what we went through and all that. But so you being laid off in 09, what was your family status then?
Okay,
you got kids, you married. I mean, you said your wife was worried about the income. So what were you? How did that work in y'all's marriage when you came home and said, "Hey, I'm laid off," and then you delved into the journey of I'm going to start a landscaping business? Like I said, we met at the marriage conference, so let's talk about that a little bit. How did that affect your marriage going from taking that risk when there's nothing else on the table? I mean, taking that and diving into it. Did your wife support you? I mean, what did y'all go through? I'm sure it was tough at that time. And go into as much detail as you want. Don't feel like you have to say anything.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I'd like to hear how that affected y'all and your kids and how you did that and how the business grew during that time.
So 09, I was a newlywed. I'd only been married a year. We got married in March of 08, and I got laid off from that job in June. June. Yeah, it had to been June 09. So we weren't married very long. She had a pretty good job working for a couple of wealthy families as a nanny out in more of the ritzier part of the Metroplex. So it helped that she still had her job. But come on, man. I mean, man, not being a breadwinner. Come on, it's like, oh, this is awful. I knew I should have finished college, But anyhow, it just a wave of emotion hits you. I mean, I don't know if you've ever been terminated or let go from a job that you've been in a while. There's so many connections there. Just a wave of emotions, income, sustainability in my life, and being the man I'm supposed to be, paying all the bills. Anyways, it's just it all hit me, and I sit back and I'm like, I'm 23, newlywed, and I don't have a job. But I have to say, my wife's been awesome through the entire time. I don't know if she was completely supportive. I think she was kind of curious, okay, you want to drive around and mow lawns all day? All right. Last name being Martinez? Okay, well, get after it. And so she didn't say no. She didn't say, no, I think you need to stay in there. And in fact, she saw I wasn't really, as I was going on interviews to other job opportunities that I was seeking out, in that original line of work in jewelry sales, she said she saw the difference in me as I was coming home from, a few days of mowing, then I would spend a few days going on interviews. She saw a difference there. She saw like, hey, you come, you're pepped, you have a little bit of cash in your pocket, you got these accounts set up, you seem real into it. I know it's just kind of surface. But when you're coming off of these interviews, it seems kind of humdrum to you. And I'm like, well, that's okay. Yeah, that's right. So let's see, I did that through the last half of the season. I did try to, I wound up getting on unemployment or some benefits or something like that here a few months into it because I went into the winter time. I didn't have any work because I didn't plan for that. So I wound up doing that, but then I started it back up in let's see, 2010, I think it was. I think I'd worked part-time for somebody as well. And then we found out in February of 2010 that my wife was pregnant. So that kind of was like a do or die kind of thing, bro, honestly.
Yeah, it's a whole
I
different ball
mean,
game when there's kids
it
involved.
was, yeah. And so I had a serious conversation with her. I was like, okay, we're pregnant. Awesome. Um, I think we should give this a shot, but if not, I understand if you want me to keep looking for a job or go back to another field or get into something a little bit more, I guess if you would say professional, I guess, for lack of better words. At the time, I will. If not, I put a mini game plan out there, and my game plan on a piece of paper with a pen was like, okay, if I charge this amount and do this amount, we will have this amount. That was my game plan, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
And so I was like, if we do this minimally, I think at least my income that we were accustomed to for several years before at this point of the season will be replaced. And I think that'd be a good place to start with. And then we can just see where it goes from there. And I'm just kind of forgetting about all the details in between there. But it just kind of just took off, I guess, after that. There was hard times, don't get me wrong, when you're starting a business, not structuring it the right way, or not knowing what you don't know, right? And but here we are. So I'm kind of forgetting portions of. Does that answer the
yeah,
question?
yeah. No, yeah, for
Starting it
for
off
sure.
there.
Yeah, yeah. That's cool. That's what I was curious about, was just how that whole thing happened. And so what was your back then? I mean, Instagram. I mean, social media wasn't as big of a thing. I really don't know. I mean, what was Google like back then? How were you? How did you grow? So starting out like that. I mean, coming out of the jewelry business. I mean, you had no. Did
Yeah.
you have any background in landscaping?
Oh, like I said, I did a little bit for like my old pastors or some people there around the corner where I lived, little friends and family back when high school.
Yeah.
Did a little commercial job here and there, but I mean, totally wannabe, bro. I
Yeah.
mean, not. I
So
mean,
you didn't like have a legit quote unquote
no,
business in high school doing it. You just did some stuff on
no.
the side here and there.
I wasn't a Corey Ballard where he was like 15 and like he
Yeah.
had like 4 crews out or
Yeah,
some
yeah.
crazy thing like that.
So how did you go about your advertising? Talk about
Okay.
that a little bit.
So Google, obviously, I mean, they were big then. I don't think that platform, as far as like local businesses, was like it wasn't it wasn't like the yellow pages was still in my mind. I was still thinking I still had to go through the yellow pages at that point and start calling people if I didn't want to go door to door. Let's just say that. And this was in '09. It probably wasn't that bad. I wasn't super into technology then. I just, had an internet base. I mean, YouTube was up, so I was able to watch a little bit of YouTube. And I actually watched somebody way before all these people. I think Greg Chisholm
Geek to Freak,
was
yeah.
Gig to Freak. He's awesome. He's awesome.
He was
But
the
even
OG.
before him, as far as I know, even before him, there was a guy in my Metroplex here in Plano, which is about 40 miles, 50 minutes north of where I'm at. He had a multi-million-dollar business, and he was one of the first YouTubers just giving out free lawn care content. His name's Jonathan Potashnik with City Turf um, in here in DFW. And at the time, he had already, I think, had amassed 4 or 5,000 weekly clients or something crazy,
My
2,000,
goodness.
3,000. And that's exactly what I said when I was about your age, close to your age.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And so, like, no way. And so he's giving all this free content. I'm like, well, I'm going to be an idiot if I don't just watch him all the time. And so I say my business model kind of is wrapped um, around what the free advice he got. And I'm not discounting Chisholm and all these other guys, which I watch them all the time, even now. Not Chisholm because they don't have this channel up anymore, but that older one. But that's kind of where I kind of got all my advice from. So where
Yeah.
you're at now, finding me, being able to meet at these trade shows and all this other, that wasn't around. That was not around. And I think I'm bunny trailing there. How did I get to the advertisement? So Nothing with the internet, nothing with Google, nothing with YouTube, nothing like that. I just did. I got a yellow, just a standard yellow 8.5 by 11 paper,
Yeah.
and I cut it into 4 squares that said Andrews Lawn Service $20 guaranteed and had my phone number on it.
Man, that's
I was
crazy.
that. I was a Chuck in the van. What'd you say?
That's
The
crazy, but
Chuck in the
that's such a
minivan.
yeah, Chuck in the minivan. Paul Jameson will laugh at that if he ever hears this. But that's crazy though. I mean, that's so cool to hear. I mean, it's cool for me to hear personally. I mean, now that I'm doing this thing and listening and having you on here, talking personally to somebody that is
Sounds like
that.
you're way, way far ahead than where I even came close to. I
Yeah,
would say you're several years ahead, just starting, than where I was when I started.
yeah,
That's from what
yeah.
it
But
sounds
hey,
like.
that's thanks to everybody in the community, and I've had good
Yeah,
mentors in
man.
my life and stuff. But so cool watching. I mean, not watching, but hearing about how you started like that. I mean, literally cutting a piece of paper into 4 squares, and
That's right.
that just goes to show any young guys out there starting out. I mean, you can do it. I mean, if you want to do it and you have the hustle and the drive,
Yeah.
do it. Just do it
And
if you
you
want to do
kind
it.
of have to. If I could have done it all over again, I mean, hindsight's 2020, right? But I mean, I'll never forget this one lady I had for a couple seasons. She was like, "Oh, okay, so I only get mine cut every 2 weeks by a company right now. Is this $20 for every 2 weeks?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm looking for business, and it's $20 guaranteed." Yes, ma'am. I didn't have Google Earth. I didn't look her property. I don't know what I'm walking into, Jeremiah. I have no idea. I just
Yeah.
know it's in an HOA. I have no idea what house it is. So
Well.
I'm like, so I go over to the property and I started talking to her. I'm like, oh man, I'm already. It wasn't terrible, but it was a little thick. It was a biweekly lawn. It was irrigated. It was treated. So it was that whole situation. I deal with Bermuda a lot and St. Augustine down in my market.
Yeah.
So it can get troublesome if you're not careful. And
Yeah.
so she was like, "Oh, it was such a blessing, getting your flyer here on the door." And it actually turned out to be what you said. There's no gimmicks or anything. She alluded to that. And she's like, "Yeah, the company before me, which I know them now, and I actually pretty good acquaintances with them, was like, oh yeah, this company here was charging me double what you're charging me, and they wouldn't even. They did. There was something else that they didn't do, which now thinking back on, I'm like, man, they knew what it was. They were charging right, anyways. But I'm like, yeah, I can do it. Don't worry. And I can do your bushes for $20 too. It took me like 3 hours, two
Yeah.
and a half hours. So that's kind of like a snapshot of that. But that's how I started. Of course, word of mouth. Once I started getting around, I was pretty much the Chuck in the minivan,
Yeah.
Rick's lawn mowing, in the minivan. And so I would get those kinds of clients because that's how I put myself out there.
Yeah.
But I think a turning point for me to kind of back up into the '09 point was while I was putting all these little dink flyers out and I had my limited resources out there. And like you said, though, Jeremy, just the drive and the hustle and the push and like, hey, I'm going to do it. Of course, that was about 30 pounds ago. And what's that now? 12 years ago. I pretty much was like, yeah, just send it my way. I didn't even know at that point that we were supposed to be set up on a regular basis. I just thought people were supposed to call me if they needed. So I had to get all these flyers. I had to get all these flyers out there. I'm remembering that as I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And so yeah, and so I think the turning point for me though is I had not taken my wife outside of our actual marriage ceremony in Florida. I hadn't taken her on a nice vacation yet. In any of the jobs that I had, even with her working with the bills and life and everything. And I actually was able to take her to SeaWorld on our own down to SeaWorld here in San Antonio, which is about probably another hour and a half, 2 hours south of where you and I met there in
Yeah.
Waco.
Yeah.
And I had a wad of cash in my pocket, I had sit there at home. I'm like, yeah, let's go. We're going to do this. I felt like, man. But anyways, that for me, I made more money on my low pricing, believe it or not, because I guess I didn't have a staff, I didn't have a guy working with me, and I just kind of was working with the limited stuff. I didn't have car payments on it, so none of that stuff, right? And so, yeah, we were able to get away, have a decent vacation, go down there and do that, and come back and hit the grind. I had never experienced that in my adult married life. It was a turning point for me. It's not much now, but then it was, dude, we're going to Cancun. That's basically like Cancun. I had went to Europe and I had traveled the globe when I was a teenager, but that was my parents sponsored a lot of that. The church did. I came in with a lot of money. It's just different, man.
This
when
was
you get married,
this was you providing for your wife and y'all having a fun vacation and getting to get away. I mean, that's a sense of pride.
Man. I go out, I kill, I bring home here. That's kind of how it was,
Yep. I totally understand.
And I think that was kind of, for me it was, but that was still in the 2009. That's not when I got her to jump on board officially or try to sell it to her, but in 2010 when we found out we were pregnant. So that, for me, that's when I kind of started seeing glimmers of promise there. But then all the wintertime stuff started hitting me, and I'm like, oh, well, I can't work anymore.
Yeah.
What do I do now,
I hear you. Well, this is probably going to be the one question that I ask everybody on every landscape, any lawn maintenance provider, I guess you could say, that I have on here, because this is one that I love talking about, and it's a popular topic. It's not a big question at all. So we're dealing with the same grass, Bermuda. We have zoysia down here. We have some at St. Augustine, not that much. But are y'all a bi-weekly or a weekly servicing business for the most part, or do you have a mix of both, or just hit on that real quick?
Okay, so I got pretty staunch weekly for a few years in that transition. I was telling you about the commercial, getting away from commercial, setting policies up, and I was pretty staunch weekly, or I would only take on bi-weekly if it was convenient, it was around the corner or something like that. But I would always aim for weekly, and I would kind of put, and I hate saying it, I would put my bi-weekly accounts I would pick up in the year kind of on the back burner.
Yeah.
If we got rained out, you're not on priority. We got to get to our priority. Weekly customers or annual customers, we got to do.
Yep. Which
I tried to approach that multiple ways to kind of help offset the sting of it just simply being a dang bi-weekly account, right? I tried to approach it like in contracts with, full service only. I tried to approach it like, okay, you have to pay every single time as opposed to monthly. Different little things like that. But I had to say I buckled finally, and I was watching with Augusta Lawn Care.
Yeah, Mike Andes.
Mike Andes, thank you, man. He did something on the bi-weekly versus weekly thing that I never really even considered. Honestly, was kind of scared too, Jeremiah, as far as the pricing goes. So this year was really the first year that I've got back into voluntarily putting it on my websites, putting it in my service offering bi-weekly and weekly. Now, what I followed what he was saying as experimental, and a buddy of mine was doing the same thing. He follows him as well. Was the pricing. It's like, okay, so our standard lawn down here is going to be somewhere around $35 to $45 a weekly cut. Okay. So basically they're saying, hey, if you need to, or if you would like to incorporate that bi-weekly on, I know they're basically saying it gets a bad rap. Bi-weekly gets a bad rap. And it does. It's inconvenient. If you have, like you're saying, if you have 75 customers that are weekly and then you have 10 that are bi-weekly, it can get kind of inconvenient, right? And so what he was saying, it was like, but you could potentially pull other work off of that. You could have that in the winding down of the season. You'll have them at the first part of the season. You can also, that's another line of getting, if you just do a great job, like you do anything else, that's another line of marketing where you can get referrals from. He just kind of named off these different tiers of reasons why. And I was like, okay, let's check this out. But the main point was just the thickness. Of course, it's the, just the cost of it. So I got to a point where, yes, I do offer it now. I have it on my websites, but I don't care what size it is. It's going to be X amount of dollars to have us even show up. If it's going to be every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I think on his method, it was like at least 50% more of what your weekly charge would be. And I was like, okay, let's try that. If it's a $35 cut, it'd be help me out, $50. $50 if it's bi-weekly every service.
Doubling it?
Was that right?
Or 50%? You said 50%.
50%.
Okay.
50%. That's right. Yeah.
50,
I had to,
yeah. I thought you.
I'm not a math whiz, so
I thought we were going to 70. I was like, if people are biting on that, it's worth it.
Bro, well, on that, let's not forget an HOA lawn, nice lawn. I've closed the last few bi-weeklies I had. I have one in the $60 range.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't believe, looking at the lawn itself, front and back, you'd probably say, oh, it's like a $30, $40 lawn. And it is. But I told them the procedure. I told them how I do it. I don't normally do this, but now we are offering bi-weekly, but here's the pricing on that. And they actually opted into doing that over weekly, which to them, they're saving money, right? If they're trying to still think pocketbook, you're actually saving money. So I'm mowing this lawn for $65 before sales tax, mind you. So it's coming out to be like a $70 charge every time they see it. There you go. You're absolutely, it's $70. It's $65. And how I was like, well, in my mind, I'm looking at this lawn, I'm talking with the client now, and I'm like, okay, this would be a $40 cut. 50% more of that, I threw a number out there, $65. And you know what? I'll even throw in some glyphosate treatments for you in the cracks of your driveway and your flower beds, kind of keep the weeds away too. And they were pretty much, hell yeah. And cool. I was like, okay. So, but there's probably, I'm always enforcing weekly. I'm always saying, hey, I'm doing that. At this point of the season, I'm probably going to turn it away because I'm so busy now. Yeah. Even though I'm advertising on my website, I just can't do it.
Yeah.
I just can't. I don't have enough room. I can't do it with quality.
That's right. That's right. And that's the thing with bi-weeklies is you gotta. In this point in the year, we are mainly a bi-weekly company right now. I want to transition into weeklies over the course of the next couple of years. But at this point in the year, I try to get as many over to weeklies for the months of July and August because it is so hot here, and we get showers every day, and it grows like crazy. So
yeah. So quality. I heard that on your podcast. I guess it was a couple back, maybe it was the last one. But you had mentioned that, and I'm glad you brought that up because I was curious about that.
Yeah.
I also work with primarily Bermuda, some Zoysia, primarily Bermuda, primarily St. Augustine down this way.
Yeah. So
it's dog. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. It's good.
That's how I'm
set up for both.
I present that. I just charge 50% more minimum on the bi-weekly at the same time.
Yeah.
So you said yours though. I got bunny trailed there. You said yours was you're primarily bi-weekly?
Correct. Yes. We're primarily bi-weekly.
But you do a lot bigger properties that probably aren't irrigated, right?
Correct. Yeah, there's I could count probably 20 of our 85 clients right now. Probably 20 or 25 of them have irrigation systems. So the ones that are running them consistently, we try to get them on weeklies. But it's kind of one of those things that it also all depends on the weather. I mean, every year's different. This year it's extremely wet down here.
I hear you.
It's extremely wet. So
it's
over here like
too.
Crazy.
Over here too. I think we got I think the southern hemisphere of the United States got hit with a barrage of moisture this year, more so than normal.
If only the West could get some. I've heard they're dying for it, like Washington and California and all that. So,
yeah.
Well, that's cool. That's what I was curious to hear about. That's one of those things I'm probably going to ask everybody because it's a cool topic to me. I like hearing how everybody's different and.
Well, that's one of those main monumental kind of conflicting things, bi-weekly versus weekly.
Yep.
You can only get bi-weekly sometimes in some markets of the nation. Some people will only do that,
And that's
but
kind of where we are right now. Is that's where we are most of the time. That's what people are offering, and that's what people want to pay for. They don't want to pay for weekly down here.
well, if that's how it is there, I would just capitalize on that, and just look at your books, see if you're charging the way you're supposed to be
it's just
charging.
all about pricing accordingly.
And then really try to spend that maybe some of the time on the alternating week trying to maybe not leave so much on the table, and hey, do some tree trimming or bush trimming or de-weeding or treatments. I don't know, something like that. Power washing even. Heck, I mean, that seems to be a popular thing now. Doing that to kind of help offset that weekly pattern, because I mean, if that is what it is, if the market is what it is, there's not much you can do about that. Now, that Jonathan Potoshnik guy, he was saying that about the pricing from years and years ago. He was like, the topic of pricing came up and what you want to charge, and the biweekly and weekly thing came up too in one of these videos that he had up there. And he pretty much just flat out said, and this guy's very macro. He's got, I mean, his business now is probably 9,000 customers, if I can remember right. He's owned multiple cleaning businesses. I take part in his software CRM software that he has. So he runs that too. So he sees things in a much more macro position probably than you and I. And he'll just flat out say, he just flat out said at one point, he's like, the market, even in some points, you might be limited by the market because the market will dictate the price. And so in this case, your market, your area there, that's probably what it dictates. You probably, a weekly client over here for me is probably a bi-weekly client over there for you. And that's just how it is. So
that's just part of it. We try to get as many weeklies as we can, but we're okay with bi-weeklies. We price accordingly. And
you got a good business though. 85 clients, you said? You said 85, 88? Sorry to interrupt you, but.
Yeah, 80, 85, something like that. It fluctuates because we pick them up. I mean, we pick some up every day and we lose them every day. So it's kind of one of those things.
I hear you.
It's hard to keep an exact count, but we really don't have weeks off because we cut a lot of. I mean, we cut a variety of both, like I was saying, and we have properties that'll take us 2 and 3 hours to mow. So we can't mow 18 or 20 yards in a day. We're looking at 12 to 14 a day. That we're doing pretty good if we're doing that. Just because, like I said, we are a little more rural and our properties are bigger. But
well, can I ask you, and you don't have to answer this, but more or less, what do you charge per acre or per property? I mean, I know you had a blend of the 7-minute 21 mow versus the acreage 61-inch mow. So what is your rates? Kind of, I'm curious out there.
Yeah. So what we're doing right now is I'm trying to get $125 an hour. That's for that's not per man hour. That's for.
I was gonna say, whoa.
No. That's not per man hour.
Let me go work for you, bro.
Yeah,
I'm gonna sell off right now and move my family out there.
No. But so I would say our average yard is probably going to be $70. If that's our average yard, that's taken from the top and the bottom.
Gotcha.
We try to. This year, I'm transitioning into. We were doing some $30 yards last year in our neighborhoods, but from here on out and into next year, I'm not going to do anything less than 45, even in neighborhoods, just because me and 2 or 3 guys rolling up with $100,000 worth of equipment, I can't be sitting there doing a 35-minute cut, a $35 cut. It's just
absolutely
no way to run a business, and so that's kind of where we're at. Pricing is I would say average is $70 down here, but
the pricing average is $70 down here. Now that's on a regular like an HOA kind of lawn, or like a rural, but maybe a half acre kind of, maybe like an oversized lawn kind of thing.
Yeah, I would say oversized neighborhood lawn. I mean that's what we're probably a quarter of an acre, something like that.
Oh, okay, that's pretty big then. Okay.
Yeah.
Because down here we'll have like a tenth of an acre.
10,000
square feet. Stuff like that.
I would say our average yard price is set about $70, and then our average our average yard takes us about 25 to 30 minutes. So,
have you done the math? Like what that breaks down into your man per hour on average?
That's actually one thing I'm working on this year. I'm trying to trying to get the numbers right this year. I've worked on it. Last year and coming into this year, but I still haven't got anything set yet. That's
Sure. Okay.
everything new
Well,
that I'm
dude, you're
taking on.
growing. It'll come. Yeah,
Yeah,
that'll come.
yeah,
And
that's
I
right.
have to say, if I could tell you one thing, three things that I could tell you that I would really enforce in this the newness of all this for you is have a good CRM platform, one that you can
For
grow
sure.
with.
Yep.
Charge credit cards.
Oh
that'll
yeah, I'm
solve
already doing that.
tons of problem. Oh, that's awesome.
We
Love to hear
switched.
that.
Yeah, we switched to that this year, and that is so much easier.
It just solves so many problems, you know.
Yep.
I mean, and I think more so for me because I mean, you got to think. For me, everything was like 15 years ago. So I mean, in technology, 15 years ago was like, I mean, things change, you know, day to day almost. It seems like, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
they come out with a new cell phone every day.
Yeah.
So yeah, that there is. I mean, that's prime. I mean, in my opinion, I wouldn't run a mobile service company without what we do anyways. There's different ones out there like food trucks and stuff like that. It's different, but I mean, if they're wanting to drop, you know, cash on you, you know, if it's an old lady, it is what it is, you know, but the core of your business, yeah, have that integrated on that CRM platform, you know, run credit cards and whatever, you know, what the latest thing is, yeah, I'm not a mathematician, but had I known my numbers years and years ago, probably be in a different place by now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's like Caleb Allman says, 10 years behind where he should be.
Man, yeah, but yeah, that's an awesome story there. I tell you what, man, that's truly. David got knocked down, but then he got back up. David really didn't get knocked. He got knocked down. He got back up.
Yeah.
He cut the head off, man. He cut the head off of the intimidation of business, literally.
That's right.
So I mean,
that's right.
But so that's what I'd leave you with, man. Is know your numbers, have a good CRM, and charge credit card. And I'm sure there's other important things out there, but honestly, from what it sounds like, you're doing a really good job already. But if you continue down the line and incorporate those in, it would solve headaches. What is that? What's that saying? It's maintenance. What's that called? Like in machines, like pre-maintenance or preventative maintenance.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing.
Yeah. That's right.
So, I mean, that's what I would encourage you. But it sounds like you got a good thing. I think your rates are pretty good too. I mean, I don't know without knowing and seeing the average property out there, that sounds, I mean, again, you're light years ahead of where I was. I just told you, I put out $20 guarantee no matter what.
That's right. That's right.
So,
well,
that's awesome, man.
Well, we're coming up on an hour here. With this time has flown by. We're already
been great.
57 minutes, but it's been fun having conversation. I hope anybody that's listening has learned from this. And this is exactly what I want the podcast to be. It's like I said in the beginning. This is going to be it's just going to be a laid back. We're going to have conversations. We're going to talk business principles. I said I'm 21. I'm coming into this thing, and I'm learning with y'all. So,
man, that's awesome.
Excuse me.
I have to say, Jeremiah, that's you know, knowing how old you are and what you're getting into, what you've done, the fact that you're 21, you're married, and you're running your own business pretty well from what it sounds like, and you're also doing a podcast like this, bro. I mean, I think I would say with other guys with businesses out there, even in different industries, they give you a big old pat on the back, man. So you keep doing what you're doing. That's awesome.
That means a lot. I appreciate it. But
I can only imagine where you're going to be, where I'm at now, where you're going to be, you know, fast forward when you're 36.
Well, the goal is to be retired by 40 and selling in the Florida the Keys somewhere, you know. I don't know. That's big awesome. Dreaming. That's big dreaming. But anyway, it's been a pleasure having you on, Andrew. It's been a
Likewise, my friend.
Super fun episode. Where can everybody find you at? What's your socials?
Yeah. So Instagram is Southern Sons Landscape. I know it's kind of long, but it's just exactly. Sons is SONS, like the sun, like a child. Southern Sons Landscape. That's on Instagram. If you put that in Facebook, it'll pop up. I'm like a little green and orange sun with a double S on it. It looks like. I got something on YouTube. I only have like 4 clips on there. I kind of try to start it, and then I got busy. That was like in March, I think, early April or something, and I just quit posting stuff up because it's got too busy. I've been doing more on Instagram. So you can find a little bit on YouTube. Southern Suns, same thing. I'm primarily on Instagram. It's is it at, is that right? At Southern Suns Landscape.
Yep.
And then same thing on Facebook. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. We will try to get everything in the show notes.
Oh, my website's southernsuns.com.
Southernsuns.com. So pretty easy. Southern Suns everything. That's the way to do it.
Pretty much.
Keep it
That's
simple.
right, man.
Keep it simple and easy. Well, Andrew, it's been a pleasure talking, buddy.
Likewise,
it's
my
been
friend.
so fun getting this thing started, guys. I can't wait to go into the future. We're definitely gonna have Andrew back on down the road, maybe in the fall once we're doing leaf cleanups and seeing what their business is like out there going into the winter. So can't wait to get back in touch with him. Can't wait to get this thing growing. If y'all like the episodes, they actually switched on Apple Podcasts now, and I think all platforms. I don't know. They switched from subscribe to follow. So if you're liking the podcast, follow the podcast. Press that follow button. Leave a rating and review. It really helps the algorithms push us. And I'm just really trying to grow this thing, get out into the community, and bring everybody together, bring good quality content from our mouths to your ears. So it's been an honor to have you on, Andrew, today. And I can't wait to hook back up with you next time. And it's going to be an honor, and it's been an honor, and it's going to be fun watching this thing grow.
It's been an honor to be had, man. This has been fun. Thank you so much for giving me the privilege of being the inaugural interviewer, man. Or an interviewee.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. No, that's really awesome, and I'm encouraged by seeing what you and your wife's got going on with the business and her career, and you're recovering so well, man, from that injury you did. I'm so happy that they didn't keep you down and didn't keep you behind, and you're growing strong in the business. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you're not going to have more encounters that might hit you, but man, you're not letting these things keep you down. So you got a promising future, and it's been a treat. It's been a pleasure to be the first interviewer on here, man. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. The honor's all mine. Well, it's been an honor. Let's go ahead and wrap this thing up, buddy. I will hopefully keep up with you, keep in touch, but reach out when you can, and we'll talk to you later.
Awesome, man. Thanks so much. Y'all have an awesome one.
All right. See you, buddy. All right, everybody. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed that episode. That was our first guest, first interviewee, Andrew Martinez. It was an honor getting to meet him out at Together in the Trades. And really, really cool guy. He's somebody that started from nothing in the business, in the landscaping business, and like he said, grew it up really big, and now he's scaled back down. So there's a lot to learn from him, and it's just an honor getting to do this thing, guys. I'm so honored to be able to do this and interview people. Hopefully, we're going to get more on the show here as we continue. But if y'all enjoyed today's episode, like I said earlier, leave us a like and follow us on all the platforms and share it on your social media. You can reach us at Growing Green Landscapes on Instagram. That's all in the show notes. So go check it out. Give us a follow. Share the podcast, and let's get this thing growing together. But that's going to wrap it up. We are looking forward to getting out the next episode. Hopefully have another guest on here. But who knows what's gonna happen. Just depends on what the weather throws at us the next couple of days, whether we're going to be able to get another interview in or not. We might be riding solo again. But anyway, that's going to wrap this one up. It's been a pleasure being here, guys. We will see y'all here on the next one.